Hi guys, it's Ms. Cassidy again. Alright, just like every single day, we are going to start out with our heading. So make sure that in your notebook you have your name with your first and last name or your complete name, date, grade, and section. Then you're going to have your objective followed by your I can statement. Our objective today is to analyze how a character's motivations influence plot in the story. And then our I can statement is I can annotate and answer questions to the story. Remember, if you want to copy this in your notebook and you need more time, you can pause the video or you can rewind. So here we are in our story Rogue Wave, short story by Theodore Taylor. We're going to look at the background information first about Theodore Taylor. This adventure story features a cutter-rigged sailboat, or rigged sailboat. Cutter-rigged boats are small sailing yachts, each with a single mast for the main sail and smaller sails up front. Cutters can be equipped with a cabin that usually includes a small kitchen called a galley. Author Theodore Taylor, born in 1921, passed in 2006, wrote many stories about self-reliant characters who face great challenges. Self-reliant means that they are able to take care of themselves. His best-known book, The K, depicts the struggles and revelations of a boy shipwrecked during World War II. So that's a little bit of info about the author. Now, setting a purpose. Paying attention to details and events that make this story an adventure. As you read, think about the setting and how the author builds excitement and anticipation through the short story. So here we have our first notice and note. As you read, notice and note signposts in the text. Read this paragraph, and then once you've read it, let's make some inferences. Annotate in paragraph 1, highlight details that describe Rogue Wave. So in this first paragraph, you are going to annotate. A reminder, the word annotate means to underline, circle, or highlight the information, which in this case would be details that describe rogue waves. Then we make our inference. We interpret. What do these details suggest about the conflict in this story? So everyone's going to write that in your textbook. You should have enough space. If not, use your notebooks. Okay, moving on to the next paragraph. We read this, we take our time, and we really do take our time, you guys, because remember, we're looking for specific signposts in each one of these. So once we're done with paragraph 2, 3, and 4, we go to analyze plot. You're going to annotate in paragraph 2 and 4 by highlighting the names of the main characters and underlining details that describe where each is on the boat. Once we've done that in paragraph 2 and 4, we go to predict. Why might it be important to the plot that these characters are in 2 different settings? Wow, we really need to take our time. We go back, we read again, and then we answer our question in our textbook. If we don't have enough room, like I said, you can do it in your notebook. Then we pass on to paragraph 5 and 6. Again, and paragraph 7, we take our time, we read, we go back and read again if we feel it's necessary. Once we are done with those paragraphs, we have a text focus for you guys. So I'm going to play the video. Pay attention, please.
Big hole here in the center of the book.
Okay, sorry. For some reason, the video had already been started. I'm going to start it over. Okay, here we go.
Scoot and Sully are both experienced sailors, so they use a lot of sailing terms. You might not be familiar with these words because they are examples of specialized vocabulary, or words used for a specific subject or activity, like sailing. When you read a text on a very specific topic like this one, you might find yourself scratching your head a lot, or better yet, heading to the dictionary for help. For example, Scoot and Sully don't refer to the front of their boat or to its right side. Instead, they use the specific sailing terms. The bow is the front of a boat, and the stern is the back. And when you're facing forward, port is to the left, and starboard is to the right. The Old Sea Dog, the boat in this story, is a 30-foot sailing yacht with a 40-foot mast. The mast is the big pole here in the center of the boat that the sails are attached to. And this is the deck. The boat in this story has a teak deck and a fiberglass hull. That means that the deck you walk on is made out of teak wood, and the underneath part, this part here, is fiberglass, which is a kind of plastic. Now look at this long part of the fiberglass hull. It's called the keel, and it helps keep the boat upright. Finally, this is the galley, or the boat's small kitchen. That's where Scoot is. The hatch, a watertight cover for the opening to the cabin, has been closed behind her. The portholes, or small windows, have also been dogged, or closed tightly with screws. When sailing, it's a good idea to always keep the hatches and portholes closed. Otherwise, in rough seas, water could enter and fill the cabin, and the boat might sink. But when these openings are secured, the boat should be watertight. As you read on, use this information to help you visualize where Scoot and Sully are located and to help you understand the dangerous situation they find themselves in. And if you come across more sailing terms you don't know, look them up.
Okay, wow, that video was definitely useful, guys. So you heard what his recommendation was. If you come into some terms again that you don't recognize, look them up. So after watching that video and reading paragraph 8, we have a close read video for you as well to help you with your annotating. Okay? So I'm going to play this one for you guys as well. Please pay attention and take notes if you feel it's necessary.
It was already too late to shout a warning to Scoot so she could escape from the cabin. Too late to do anything except hang on to the wheel with both hands. Too late even to pray. He did manage a yell as the Sea Dog became vertical. Wow, so what I noticed is there's this total shift in tone from the paragraphs before. It's a calm day, they know exactly what they're doing, and all of a sudden, nature is just taking over.
And the way the author keeps repeating, too late.
Right, it's too late to shout, too late to do anything, too late to pray.
Yeah, which shows how quickly the wave must have hit.
And in the early part of the story, the author describes how prepared they were, but then this wave hits and they couldn't prepare at all.
I can visualize how the ship became vertical in just a few seconds. The boat is straight up and down. The only thing Sully can do is just hang on to the wheel with both hands.
Yeah, their helplessness really comes out here. You can't steer a vertical boat, even with both hands on the wheel, you know? This really builds the suspense.
Right, and immediately you're wondering what's happening to Scoot if the boat's vertical. Is she falling? Are things hitting her?
Yeah, and she doesn't escape from the cabin, it says. So I wonder what being in the cabin must look like now.
She rose up the surface of the wall stern first and then pitch-poled violently, end over end, the bow submerging and the boat going upside down, taking Sully and Scoot with it. The 40-foot mast, sails intact, now pointing toward the bottom. The author refers to the boat as she. He's also describing the wave as a wall. So the boat is sliding up and along this massive wave.
Yeah, and they're using some technical or really boating terms here. It does take a little extra work to picture what's going on.
Yeah, and I double-checked to remind myself that the stern is actually the back end of the boat. The bow is the front end.
Yeah, and you can kind of tell what pitch-poled means just from the author's description. It means flipping end over end, and the author says it's doing that violently.
So let me see if I can picture this. This boat slides up backwards, and then it's flipping, and finally it's upside down. The bow is submerging underwater.
Yeah, though the author does mention the 40-foot mast with sails intact. So it sounds like the boat isn't destroyed by the wave totally.
No, it's just upside down, underwater.
Yeah, it gives you a sense of just how small and helpless these characters and the boat, too, really are in this setting.
This situation is crazy. The way the authors described it, I can't help but picture like a toy boat in a bathtub, just tiny and flipped right over.
Yeah, and I wonder how Scoot will escape.
Okay, so this was what we call a close read screencast. It's when two of the readers, in this case, take the time to analyze specific parts to the ending of the story, and they talk about it. So then we read paragraph 9, and now we have another signpost, our again and again signpost. Remember those, guys? We discussed them. Notice and note, highlight words that are repeated in paragraph 9. Then we go to predict. Why might the author have chosen to repeat these words? How do you think this repetition adds suspense to the rising action of this story? And then we write our answers. Remember, if you still don't have enough room in your textbook, you can always do it in your notebook. So we move forward to the next paragraphs, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Then we have an image of what that wall of water looks like, guys. Look at that. Wow, I would be really scared of that. We keep going to 14 and 15, and then we analyze the plot. Annotate in paragraph 9 to 15, highlight details that describe the conflict, and then after doing that, predict based on other short stories you have read, how do you think the characters will respond to this conflict? Review the genre characteristics of short stories on page 5. Remember, we covered those. Though this is where we're going to stop in the story. I know. How could we stop in the most suspenseful part? But I promise for the next video, we'll know how it all ends. Have a great day, guys.